This is Shubh Saran.
Hello.
He's an amazing guitarist, and today we're going to be critiquing viewer submissions in a little segment we like to call How to Get Good at Music. Oh, that was good, man. Thanks. Thank you. This is the bass player. Bluegrass vibe. Bluegrass is one of these genres that I wish I played more because it's just it seems so much fun.
Yeah.
It's like very much in the same vocabulary as like jazz and funk because like accents on 2 and 4. So a big critique for the bass here is that it sounds like you're like doing the slap thing on 2 and 4, which comes very naturally when you're playing, which sounds a little uneven. Like sometimes you're doing the slap thing on 2 and 4, and then sometimes you're not. Sometimes you're missing that slap click, and then sometimes the slap click is like too loud in comparison to the rest of the band. Yeah, I think that would definitely change the groove and like make the groove feel more
definitely
alive.
Yeah, for me, the slapping on guitar at least is kind of like a comfort thing where if I play a chord, it helps me just set up the next chord almost. But if I want to make it part of the arrangement and part of the song, then I have to be more intentional about where I'm placing that slap or percussive hit.
And especially in this situation where there are no drums and the rest of the band is very much reliant on you, the bass player, to be not only the harmonic foundation, but in this case also the rhythmic foundation. Like bass players in bluegrass bands have such an important role to play because you are the bottom of everything. And as such, every little detail of your performance really matters, like really matters. So I think paying a little bit more close attention to where you're putting that slap accent on 2 and 4 will make this like really shine.
Woo.
Interesting. Okay. Jazz. Plus visual effects. Okay. Style jazz. An interesting bass note there. Wow.
The arpeggio.
Yeah, that definitely sounds like Sungazer. Wow.
That add 4 chord.
Yeah, so
spicy.
Yeah, so this might be another example of like imitating the surface level sound of jazz chords, but the logic, like the inner logic, isn't quite there. And you know what? I just thought of this. It might be because people aren't improvising solos over these kinds of chord progressions.
Maybe. Yeah.
And like when you improvise a solo and when you like have to make a melody work, then you really are paying attention to the internal like harmonic logic of chord progressions.
Next time you write a song like this, you could try writing a melody that goes over it, and then I think your ear will naturally fix or alter any chords that need altering to fit in a melodic way.
It can just be a couple notes. The add 4 was a little strange.
It's little,
Like writing a melody on top of these chords is a good suggestion. I like the imitation Sungazer stuff, which is like arpeggiators and
cool.
jazz chords. It's really interesting to see people imitate some of the like synth effects and like how we put together arrangements.
Sometimes we think of chords and melodies as 2 separate things. There's a lot of overlapping between melody and chords, and even if there isn't an obvious melody, our ears are still hearing some kind of melody when we're just hearing chords.
Yeah.
And so I would try to find out what the melody is in your mind when you're playing these chords, and then really try to lean into that. You don't have to write a melody, but maybe it's worth just thinking about it more melodically than just purely harmonically.
I was talking to Lau Noah, who is this amazing songwriter and composer, and she was saying that there's this tendency to be afraid of melodies, like especially among instrumentalists, of not leaning into melodies. And we are almost scared of writing a beautiful melody. And I thought about that. Like, I don't spend much time writing melodies, and I think that's we're lacking in that, honestly.
Yes.
You know, one of the things I love about Shubh's music, not to plug Shubh too much, is that he has incredibly catchy melodies, but also like there's always this this nice little twist on them, like a rhythmic twist or a harmonic twist that like really make them sing and come alive. And part of it comes from how you voice chords on the guitar.
Yeah.
And you're really conscious of how melodies work with the chord progression and how the chord progression implies melodies.
Yeah, and a lot of times I just sing a melody over my guitar part that I'm writing. You know, even if I'm not a singer, but like I'll try to just sing something just so it feels human and vocal and melodic that way.
Trying to get towards that, like, what is the melodic core of this song? The melody is so important because it ties the whole thing together.
Yeah.
Also the bass line. The bass line is really the most important part. And wish me luck for my audition on 17th of February.
Hey!
Well, okay.
Best of luck.
Best of luck. First of all,
Shiny pants.
shiny pants, yes.
Nice job.
Really has that like Cassiopeia tone.
Dude, fast downpicking as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all down picking. Wow.
Wow.
That's interesting. Nice. Killing. Yeah, the down picking as well.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Killing.
Cool. Killing.
Yeah.
Killing is the
Killing.
technical term. Yeah, I mean, I think we were making a lot of those comments about all the down picks, which is
Yeah, that's cool.
it's interesting. It's not typical. Typically,
Yeah.
you would do down, lots of downs and ups, but having all down picks really has a vibe. I mean, I think about like Wes Montgomery.
Exactly.
And, like,
I was just gonna say.
Yeah.
The thing about guitar technique is like I'm always torn on it because there isn't like a right way to do anything really. If all the down picking is comfortable, then just keep doing that. But it could be cool if you haven't explored alternate picking. Maybe include that, especially because if you can down pick so fast,
Yeah.
with up picking you'd be like a force of nature, just going back and forth. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
just imagine how much faster you can play
Yeah.
twice as fast.
Exactly.
The backing track here, unfortunately, is not really doing you any favors in terms of time feel. The time feel is a little wonky, at least compared to like the original Cassiopeia. Some of the lines that you're playing, the time feel feels a little waffly because of that. Also, some of the lines you're just kind of going up and down scales. You might want to try and arpeggiate a little bit more and play some more intervallic lines, I believe is the thing, where you're skipping around the scale so it's not just going up and down. You're playing with good tone and good intention here.
Clean. Nice.
Clean.
Yeah.
Sweet. All right. Tapping. All right. Some kind of time signature. Okay. Okay. That's a chord.
Oh, whoa. Sick.
All right, Bruno. Like the tapping riff?
The tapping was like really in time actually, which is hard to do, especially like getting the left-handed groove. I did feel though the chords, like the anticipation of like the 1, 2, and those were like kind of ahead of the beat a little bit, which is really common. That happens to me a lot when I'm recording. Is like I seem to be ahead because I think it's the nature of guitar like chords.
Especially also in like the rhythm guitar part, there is a
Yeah.
lot of aheadness.
Yeah.
That's the technical term, by the way. Bet you didn't learn that one at Berkeley. You know, I know a lot of people will say you shouldn't quantize guitar parts or shouldn't quantize your parts, and I agree with them. But I think if you use it as a tool for teaching yourself how the guitar part is supposed to sound and really hear what it sounds like when you are placing those like downstrokes like a lot further behind and with
Yeah.
the drums, that will help. I know it's cheating to do that, but at the same time, if you're lining up the guitar part, it will, I think, help tighten up for your own ear. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. You're already pretty good at music, so I don't know why you're asking our help, but
You shouldn't be asking us anything. Really.
all right. So I can't help but go like this to the groove.
Yeah.
doesn't seem like he's doing
much of anything.
It's very, very still.
Stoic.
Okay, that's a note. I love that. I love the groove that you got going on, but I feel like you could move more to the music. It's just goofy, like movement music, if that makes any movement music.
Yeah, that makes
It's a
sense.
technical term. Lots of technical terms in this
Lots.
episode. You know, music comes from your body, and the more that your body is engaged in the music and in the instrument, the more expression you can really bring out of your musical performance. If I'm doing the Joe Dart neck thing, like the music comes out just more musical, I think. So for me, I think you could definitely move more. You're very, very stiff when you're performing right now.
And I think you can play around with like some of the note lengths of that little melody part. Those parts could be like short, long, or long, short, or short, short, or something, you know? You can kind of vary them up so they sound different depending on the chord you're on.
For me, as a bass player, with of course the more important instrument, so you know. As a bass player, I'm very conscious of how I'm trying to talk about bass right now.
No one cares.
Shubh, we love you, but your instrument sucks. So yeah, as a bass player, I'm always aware of how a melody instrument is articulating, because if they're playing the ends of phrases short, I want to make sure that I am lined up with them, and also how that articulation works with the drums, and like if it's on certain beats. Like you might want short beats on the 2 and the 4 to really accent the backbeat, because there's this perceptual thing where shortness implies accent sometimes. What you can do here is you can use your movements to inform what kind of articulation you want to do. Like it can feel goofy. It's more of a but it actually translates into the music in a pretty like profound way when you're moving a lot. And
especially something as rockin' as this. That's good.
It's a guitar. What do you play?
Better instrument.
Okay. Okay. Very pentatonic kind of melody. It's the blues, man.
His name is Dorian Days. So. Dorian for days.
Ooh, that wasn't Dorian.
That was
That was something different. That was a cool chord progression. Cool, yeah, I like your tone. The chord progression sounds great. I love that.
This is something that I've struggled with a lot with my guitar playing, is trying to get out of shapes once you get comfortable in them. So it is good to get comfortable with a shape and really find your way around it. But then once you get comfortable with it, it's good to kind of switch it up and maybe like explore either the same shape up the neck or down the neck, or just introduce new notes into the pentatonic shape, like the natural 6 or the flat 6 or like the flat 5, just to kind of give it like another flavor. It's repetitive, which is nice. The same motif is happening 2 or 3 times.
Repetition.
It repeats a few times, and so what you could try to do, maybe the 3rd repetition or the 4th repetition, is kind of add maybe a couple more notes, and that'll help you learn how to get out of that shape if you feel stuck in it.
So one other thing is that when you bend to a note, or like when you do the bends within the minor pentatonic, make sure you're bending to a note that you hear. It doesn't have to be a note on the keyboard. It can be an in-between note, like a neutral 3rd or like a blue 5th or one of these spicy microtonal notes or whatever. But just make sure that you really hear it, because it sounded like you weren't intentionally bending to a sound. It just sounded like you were bending up and then X amount of pitch different. I don't know. It didn't feel very intentional. So pay very close attention to when people are bending. They're bending to specific sounds, and that you can really hear it also in the instrument. I feel like when you've reached that note, it's like it sings.
Yeah, it sits well. Something I practice is I play a note and then I'll go down a whole step and try to bend up to that note. So I have it in my ear, like I play like the 5th fret on the B string, and I'll hear it and then go to the 3rd fret and bend up to what would have been the 5th fret. It kind of helps you put the bend in context. So maybe you could try doing that. Great job.
Great job.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Sleigh bells in the air, beauty everywhere. Yuletide by the fireside, and joyful memories there. Christmas time is here.
One problem. It's not Christmas.
Family is growing near. Oh, that we could always see such spirit through the years.
Dig the arrangement, great time feel.
I love beautiful voice.
Yeah, I love the voice. Like the harmony is.
That reharm was interesting. Could be because we know the song really well. Like it's hard to reharm a really popular song with complicated harmony as it is.
This is a matter of taste, I think. So if you really truly believe that this is the harmony for you guys, ignore our critique.
Yeah.
But I think we're reacting to that because we're so used to how Christmas time this year is like supposed to work.
Because the chords themselves also have to have some relation to like the song at large, I think. So there's like a way harmony like this kind of functions. Like this, I mean in the original song. And capturing that motion of the harmony is still kind of important, which is why it's a little like surprising some of the modulation was like caught us off guard, I think.
Yeah, which can be a good thing.
Yeah,
it can
which can be a cool
It can be a good thing.
Yeah.
But whether or not we believe it is
Yeah.
like whether or not that was the most truthful thing. So for me, reharmonization is taking another look at a piece of music, like shining a different light on one of its facets. A great example of this is Cat Power's version of New York, New York. She does a version that's like a stripped down funk, almost deharmonization of the original, where it's like kind of just a blues vamp rather than a jazz standard like Frank Sinatra. And through that, she's telling a very different story. And I think that's the important thing whenever you decide to do a reharmonization. Think, all right, what is the new story that I'm telling here, and why does it need this different harmonic approach?
I know I've had that problem when I've tried to reharm songs, is sometimes my arrangements of things sound forced when I really just want to add my own chords in it.
Yeah.
And sometimes it might not need new chords.
So for example, like that has a very specific sound and feeling. Like maybe this is a dark Christmas time. Like, that kind of thing. That would be a reason for the reharmonization, is that you're trying to tell a story of like a scary Christmas time or a sad Christmas time. But great submission. Like we're kind of nitpicking and we're reacting from, I feel like, more of a
Subjective standpoint.
Yeah.
It could, like,
you're already good at music. You don't need to know.
You don't need us.
You don't need us.
Turn
You're
it
good.
off. Just press the X on the side
click
of
out
your
of this
screen.
YouTube. No, please don't click out of this YouTube video. We need the watch time.
Unsubscribe from Adam.
No! The Vox Arcanum band rehearsal. We're not metal at all. Like, what?
They're definitely gonna sample that and just like put that in.
Vox Arcanum. God, this is gonna be like. Give me like garage band vibes. I love this so much. Okay. Nice. Yeah. Oh, nice. Yes. Yes. That's it. That's all.
Just dive bombs. Great.
So yeah, I mean, this is cool. This is awesome.
Cool. Yeah.
Just good vibes. I love when people are just like hanging out and playing.
Yeah, the riff is really cool, but this is something that I've been actually working on myself a lot these days. So the riff has a lot of these pull-offs and I think hammer-ons, but a lot of pull-offs and like pulling off notes. Sometimes guitar players forget to kind of like make the left hand groove as well along with the right hand. So the right hand's like a picking, almost like a drum set or something, But the left hand, we kind of ignore making the pulling off and the hammering on fit in the pocket too.
Yeah.
And I'm hearing some of that like timing ebb and flow. So what could be worth just working on is trying to make a pull off sound really in time and making your left hand groove along with your right hand as well. That's something I've been personally working on for the past like couple of weeks is that, because I've been noticing my own hammer-ons and pull-offs. That's where my timing starts to kind of get a little loose, and so I've been trying to tighten that up.
Honestly, I think I should start doing that for myself too. Yeah. One thing also is that it sounds like the guitar is rushing a little bit, which, as we said, guitar players have terrible, terrible time. What are you doing? I'm kidding.
I mean, you know what? You were 100% right about that.
Bass supremacy. I think one of the reasons why that might be in this room is you're playing with an electric set, and there's something about the time feel of being in a small room with an electric set versus an acoustic set, about how air moves differently. Air moves like just very differently when you have the acoustic drums, like, so you can feel it and you hear it like almost spatially. You're hearing sound around the drum kit, and when electric set comes through like speakers, the way that time works, I don't know. It's just different. It's just different because you're also hearing the drummer hit the rubber pad in the room, but you're not feeling the impact. You're doing the best that you can in this rehearsal situation, but you're working in a very different musical environment, very different like rhythmic environment, and so you should adjust accordingly. You should always be playing for the situation that you're in, and in this situation, you're always gonna want to try and like lay back just a little bit because you're playing with an electric kit. Good stuff. Love it. Love the band.
Yeah.
All these great submissions. Thank you everybody for submitting. This is so much
really
fun.
Cool. Oh, I have an MPD as well.
Oh, nice. Okay. We got groups of 5 quintuplets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Grooves pretty well, yeah. Static though, like it.
That chord.
Oh yeah, that was a good chord. There are some good chords. Okay, cool, nice.
Very cool. I like that one a lot.
Yeah, that was nice. I mean, it's cool to see more people exploring 5s and quintuplets. And trying to make it sound like it's not a math problem.
Exactly, especially when it sounds like this. It just grooves, which is awesome.
It's a chill vibe. I like it. And you're not super locked to counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Exactly.
You've explored a little bit more of, the syncopations and how 5 works. I think you could stand to write a melody on top of this.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I would love to hear a melody.
I think this is another melody one. I think we're melody boys today.
I know. Especially because the harmony is so pretty and it works really well in this situation that it would be nice to hear like a floaty long melody.
You don't have to really hit the 5 subdivision like really strictly with the melody. That's one of the nice things about 5, and honestly one of the things that I like sometimes in 5 grooves is the fact that you can be floaty and a little bit less locked with the subdivision. Because if you're too precious with the subdivision, sometimes it can feel like that math problem.
Yeah, exactly.
But I could hear any number of different nice long melodies on top of that. It's great.
Dim lights.
All right.
Loneliness is your face.
Hiatus coyote.
Yeah, super hiatus coyote.
Sorta, yeah. Nice. Man, this era of music really does have a sound, doesn't it?
Chill and intense at the same time. Chill and complicated. Nice play.
Right. That's kind of a fun, goofy lick to it. Alright. That's a note. Oh. Changing the feel too.
Sounds like Esperanza vibes too.
Yeah, it really does. Lots of different feels. Interesting. Second Sight is the name of the band. Wow, killing. You can hear, like, we were just listing a bunch of different influences, but you guys definitely have a vibe. Cool. I guess my main critiques are recording sounds. Like, the drums feel a little too roomy and how they were recorded, because I associate a very tight, dry sound with this kind of style. You don't have to do that, but I was just like, just a note, I think, for mixing, because the vocals are very dry too. But having like a really tight drum sound, I think, would take this to the next level for sure.
Yeah.
I know this might not be like in your control, but just for future reference. You guys were doing a very good job of setting up the different sections. There's very different time feels, which is cool.
Yeah.
But the more you can exaggerate musical elements,
Yeah.
like the better. It's just communicates more to the audience. And whatever you think might be too much, it's never enough. Never too much, never too much, never too
Actually, on that Luther Vandross vibe,
Yeah.
I'd love to hear like dim light, like a toggling wah guitar vibe. It's hard because I know the guitar player is also singing. Something to create like a little bit more like a subdivided motion aside from just the hi-hat.
Yeah.
You know, like a little brighter.
That would definitely help. And also sell the difference between the different sections, because when the subdivisions are changing, not as much besides the drums are changing.
Yeah.
But cool. I mean, you clearly like have been influenced by a lot of the same musicians that we've been influenced by, so which is exciting to like see. But great job. Love the music.
Nice.
Thank you so much, Shubh.
Thank you, Adam.
Is this the point where we make out?
Yeah, yes, please.
Go check out Shubh's music. He's an amazing guitarist and composer. He also has a podcast.
Offstage with Shubh Saran.
Go check out Shubh's music and his podcast. It's a great podcast. Highly recommend it. He talks a lot about being a guitarist, being a composer, discussions about identity. Good stuff, man. Thanks everybody so much for watching, and until next time. Peace!